Here's how it works. We'll tell you briefly. You came from non-physical. Most of you is still there. Here you are in this physical body. Splat, here you came. You're exploring the contrast. You know what you don't want, which causes you to know what you do want. So you launch these vibrational rockets. They emanate out ahead of you. Your inner being knows what you mean and takes the new idea and focuses on it completely. And then the law of attraction begins gathering all of the cooperative components to this newness that you have discovered. And it's such a real thing that goes on, this vibrational reality where your inner being stands on your behalf, that we've given it the name Vortex, because it is this circular summoning of all cooperative components. So important that you accept its reality, even though you can't yet see it and hear it and smell it and taste it and touch it. Because if you don't accept its realness, you cannot move toward it. And if you don't move toward the newness that you have carved out of this life experience, you won't feel good. In other words, you can't become more and feel good not moving toward the moreness that you have become. And your inner being is holding such a strong focus upon it that you are naturally called to that. It takes quite a bit of stubbornness. You're pretty good at that, at not moving toward the new, because after all, you've got beliefs that say, I can't do it, or I shouldn't do it, or nobody's ever done it, or I don't know how to do it. Or so when you focus upon what it is you want and why you want it, you loosen up your resistance and you allow yourself to receive the impulses that lead you to this vibrational reality. And once you allow yourself to move toward this vibrational reality, then what happens is you become one with it. The vibration of your being, your physical, human, flesh, blood, and bone being, rises to the equivalency of your source energy. Ooh, that's such an important thing to understand. That when you let yourself be who you really are, it's like the cork that bobs on the surface of the water. When you let go of it, you bob right back to who you are. So when you allow yourself to find alignment with who you are, oh, then it's such a wonderful thing. It's such a wonderful thing to be the full you that you are born to be. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Don't worry about us. We will wedge our message in the crack. It's our desire to assist you in releasing as much resistance as you can. We're not going to ask you to release all of it. That's painful and not logical. Just a little more and a little more and a little more and a little more, allowing of who you really are to be present here and now. So it's going to be a really fun day. What do you want to talk about? Some things. It's a lot of trouble in this room.
Hi, Abraham. It is nice to see you again. Thank you for being here, and on behalf of everybody, welcome again to San Francisco. The signs have been apparent for quite a while that I needed to come here again. I got the little flyer in the mail saying, just a reminder, we're coming here to San Francisco, and you should come. So
That's not really a sign. We send that to everyone.
Oh, okay. Well,
what else you got?
What else did I got? Well, let's see. I had a dream recently that I came to the workshop and that you called me. What I had not anticipated on was being the first person to get to call.
Well, that is really good. That dream, which was you interpreting a vibration. So, what's up?
What's up? Well, I have two questions for you. The first one is a clairaudience experience. I have been very interested for a while in being able to tap into my inner infinite intelligence. I know part of it, you need to meditate for this. However, I have problems meditating.
There isn't anything that you need to do. There's no process that is required. But what is accomplished before that happens steadily, happens for you, it has happened for you, but before it happens for you steadily, is that you want to accomplish a sort of steady vibrational equivalency with your inner being, which means you begin to feel more and more about more and more things the way your inner being feels about those things. You can't feel a lot of doubt on a regular basis and be in alignment, or discouragement, or fear, or anger, or hatred. You got to be pretty happy.
Always.
Yeah.
I'm always happy.
Yeah.
And even when things aren't happy, I'm happy regardless, because I feel good when I'm happy. So a lot of times when I'm relaxing, meditating, I feel happy.
Good. All right. So now, what are you asking about?
I just want a more detailed explanation as to how I know when I'm really truly tapping into.
Here's the best way. So we teach meditation, as you already said, because it's the easiest way. It's the easiest way because when you quiet your mind, you stop thought. And when you stop thought, you stop all resistant thought. And when you stop resistant thought, your vibration rises to the vibrational equivalency of your inner being. So this inner being that we're describing in this vortex, who is emitting conversation, information, love, vibration, knowing, emitting it to you at all times, this strong signal. When you are at the vibrational equivalency of that, that means you're in the receiving mode. When you're in the receiving mode, then you can receive. Now, the tricky part about that, and this is what you're asking, since you're used to thinking thoughts, you are accustomed to being in the receiving mode because when you're awake, you always are in the receiving mode of some transmission. The question is, are you receiving from the stream of thought of man's spin-off of worrisome thought? Are you receiving from what's being broadcast from cable news? No. We're just playing with you a little bit. But what we're getting at is there's lots of streams of consciousness that are offered at different broadcasting signal levels, and depending upon where you are in terms of your inner being, you can be receiving. So since you have been receiving, people who feel a great deal of paranoia, they're receiving from this stream of consciousness of worrisome thought that man spins off. And when a thought is thought, it exists forever, and so all you have to do is find vibrational alignment with it, and you can receive that thought. And so the question that you're actually asking is, how can I tell when I've accomplished this vibrational equivalency with my inner being, and I'm receiving a thought from my inner being rather than a thought from all the other places that I receive thoughts from? And isn't that a nice way to look at that? The ways that you can tell are, if the thought feels good, it's more likely that it's coming from your inner being. Another way is, and this is our favorite way of explaining it to you in a new way. Once you've quieted your mind, and we'll talk today more about the easiest ways to accomplish that meditative state with a quieted mind, but once you've quieted your mind, so you're not thinking anything except maybe about the sound that you can hear and that sneeze, the sound that you can hear and that laugh, the sound that you can hear in the air conditioner. Just focus upon something that, hear it? We'll listen for a minute. Not much to think about there, is there? But it is something you could focus on. So if you focus on something that you can focus on, that there's not much to think about, and you do it for a little while, 2 or 3 or 4 minutes, your mind quiets. The activity of your mind quiets. The momentum of your thoughts subside. And when that happens, your vibration rises to the equivalency of what your inner being knows. And now, what your inner being is thinking, you will receive. And the thing that's tricky, it's not tricky, but at first you're not so sure, it's translated through your brain, so it feels like your thought. Feels like your terminology too. And so as it flows to you, it's the way it feels that is the strongest indicator. And often, and this is the part we like the best, it's a thought that comes to you about something that has been very important to you, but that you have not just been thinking about. So it's like an answer to a question or an idea about something. Sometimes Esther will meditate, and right toward the end, she sets her timer for 17 minutes because she wants to meditate about 15, and she figures it takes her about 2 minutes to get settled into it. And right before the timer goes off, often Esther receives a thought. It's a thought about something she wasn't thinking about, like, maybe I'd like to move some furniture around in my house, which doesn't seem like infinite intelligence speaking to you. But she knows that it is because she wasn't thinking about moving furniture around. She had not even thought about moving any furniture around. That thought just occurred to her, you see? And when she followed that thought and then followed the next thought and the next thought and the next thought that came, it led to a sequence of wonderful things that all were things that were in her vortex that she'd been asking for. So, clear?
That's very clear. Very, very clear and very detailed. I love it.
The important thing is, don't try to make anything happen. Because when you try to make it happen, you're in the way. You want to let it happen. So you want to just be quiet and listen or feel, but don't listen too hard, because that's trying too hard. So just enjoy the sound of the air conditioner if you can.
Absolutely, because like you said before, trying too hard is never being in the receiving mode.
And then what happens is, you see, here's this manifestations, a lot of them out here that you want. But there are some things that are going to happen along the way within you and for you in preparation for that. And so you might say that you're ready to be ready, to be ready, to be ready, to be ready, to be ready. And we want you to feel good in every part of that readiness rather than rushing to be all the way over here, because the rushing to be all the way over here is what messes everything up, because that's when you introduce lack and doubt and irritation and impatience to the equation, which doesn't leave you in vibrational equivalency to your inner being, does it? And so it's just a soft, steady, happy, eager, not urgent approach. It's a sort of attitude that my inner being knows what I want. The universe is lining it all up for me. I will be led to it in the most convenient and probable way that my resistance will allow. And say that lovingly to yourself, that my existing resistance will allow. Not my terrible, horrible, I should get rid of it resistance will allow. That my natural resistance will allow. My natural resistance that I'm releasing a little more every day. Because your inner being knows where you stand in relationship to everything that you want. And your inner being knows what the likely thought to lead you to it is. It's like the story we've been telling for years. Esther couldn't find her gold pin. She looked everywhere, day after day after day. We won't tell you the long version, but she looked for that pin and could not find it and finally gave up on it. And then one day, having completely forgotten about the lost pin and about how sad she was that she had lost her important pin, completely not thinking about it at all, she was looking for a little perfume sprayer, and she reached into a purse that she'd reached in looking for that pin dozens of times, came out with the pen instead of the perfume. Because you can't find what's lost. If you believe it's lost, your belief that it is lost sets up a wall of resistance all around you that makes things that are easy to see impossible to see, because nothing's really all that real anyway. It's all your ability to translate it. What you see with your eyes is a translation of vibration. What you smell with your nose, a translation of vibration. So your inner being knows where everything that you want is, and knows where you are in relationship to it, and is offering, you may not know this, but we want you to know this, constant dialogue and direction and impulse. In other words, your inner being isn't just talking to you, it's in your body helping you move into a direction. Sometimes, do you ever find yourself moving down the freeway and you look over there for no reason and it was good that you did? Esther and Jerry would roll down the highways of the nation in their monster bus, and all day long Esther would be driving, and all day long she would not see one billboard, till all of a sudden she's looking at the RV park where they're going to stay tonight. And she would say, isn't that interesting? Nothing on these billboards for the last 500 or 600 miles was noticeable to me until something that mattered. My inner being knew where I was going, what I wanted, and said, look over there. Didn't say, look over there. Didn't say, hey, Esther, look over there. Hey, Esther, stop eating and look over there. It just looked over there. Just looked over there. These impulses just looked over there. Just changed lanes at the right time. In other words, you are extensions of this powerful consciousness, you see. Good?
Yeah. Awesome, we're good. Thank you so much, Abraham.
Really good. Really good.